Settling into Perpy did not go well for our heroes in City Council of Darkness Episode 2. Whether it's Madeline who needs noble blood to feed, or Batchild that needs justice. And in between the funny moments, we learn a lot about what's going on behind the scenes in this little town. Overall, it was a hilarious episode, and I have a few points I want to mention, so let's get right into it. Last episode, Emily finished the session with 5 hunger. I think it was 5, but it was really high. And Batchild begins this episode being very, very hungry. And I loved how Emily took it to those weird places, like talking about the other child that Darknessman sired. And I loved how Murph as Darknessman played into it by just going into the first house they saw and was like, ooh, he talks bad to his wife. And then Brennan was like, I hate my wife. I speak badly to my wife. Being very obvious that, yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's have Batchild feed. And then they leave no trace by having that body sucked into the abyss. And that's hilarious because last episode, and I think in the adventuring party as well, Emily said, I don't know how I'll use this. And now she used it twice. The other funny storyline in this episode is Zaith and Madeline and their little adventure with the couple Rory and Miranda. I feel like this was such a funny moment to have Brennan as the game master being like, yeah, they take off their wedding rings. I think it just shows how much potential there is in manipulating people as a vampire. I have not watched other Vampire the Masquerade campaigns, so I don't know how crazy it can go, but being able to manipulate people this easily, I feel like can make for some very funny moments. And also, I love how they finish this episode with this whole adventure being a positive thing, because Rory and Miranda go have sex in the bathroom. They went on an adventure and then it reignited their love for one another. But while Zach and Siobhan had fun with their NPCs, I feel like Allie got stuck with one NPC who is going to be the star of this campaign. And that is Tevin Pika. Right off the bat, Brennan killed me with Chinese Etsy. I mean, Chinese Etsy, isn't Chinese Etsy like Temu or AliExpress, whatever you want to call it? This killed me. And I'm saying this not just as someone who is a customer of those websites, but also as someone who had an Etsy store in the past. And I feel like either the manipulation role didn't work for Ali, or just Tevin Pika is someone who is not so easily manipulated. He is a sack of blood that you can drink, sure, but having Brennan tell Ali, if you permanently cross off one of your resources points, this was crazy. And that also raises a question about being a vampire and living that life. How do you handle society? How do you integrate with things that need to happen in the day? So I guess that's something that also is solvable in your character sheet by something that is called allies. I think Brennan mentions it. I didn't watch the adventuring party yet, so I don't know if they talk more about it later. But from the episode itself, Brennan asks Ali if they have allies. And I guess if they did have allies, that would be the thing that would help get the car during the day and then brought here. Thankfully, it got sorted in the end because Rory and Miranda gave Zaith their car. He was like, keep it. So aside from Tevin Pika, there was also a little bit about the town itself when Levante and HJ go for a walk and also meet this older guy who tells them about the Ancestry.com thing and the town missing basic amenities. For me, I think there is something. It's not just neglect. This is a town that is dead, right? But I feel like there is something behind the scenes here, either other vampires or maybe werewolves. I don't know what antagonist could be here in this world. but I feel like there is someone pulling the strings behind the scenes. It could also be just plain old capitalism. But the fact that all those apps are connected, Mover and what was the other one? I don't remember. But the fact that all of them are connected and all of them are also connected to the guy that got decapitated in episode 1 means there is probably something here that we are still in the dark about. Overall, I think this episode was very, very foundational to getting to know Perpy, because right now we kind of finally meet people in Perpy, and we also have this ability to now start things, and we also have the ability to plan how to take over, because now they sat down at the end of the episode in this bar and was like, hey, let's buy this bar, hey, let's buy a nightclub, let's do something that would let us ignite nightlife in this city. And this episode, while not jam-packed in action or actually have any impact about the goal of taking over Perpy, they just got here, they just woke up. It was kind of like the first step in, okay, let's get the ideas to how we're going to do it. And aside from that, I also feel like the group characters still need to gel a little bit, because Zaith still feels like he has his own thing. He might do crazy stuff. He's like an agent of chaos. And HJ and Levante are the business minds, but still Madeline still feels like she is not super happy to be there. She wants to get away. And Darkness Man and Batchild are just there to find injustice and fix it badly. So all of them kind of like have their own goals. And aside from those goals, the only people who are focused on what the Camarilla wants was Levante and HJ. So I'm excited to see how this pans out in the next episode. We'll see how they actually start taking over Perpy and making moves, because right now they just landed, they integrated into the town, they start meeting people. Now let's see how they start using it. So let me know what you thought about the episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.